Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat that I am visible as well as equally audible? Then we would start right away. Just a quick +1 would solve the purpose. Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Can I have a quick +1 in the chat that I am visible as well as equally audible? Okay, I'm live here. Okay. I'm extremely sorry. The video in which I am live on the other channel has ads. It's not my personal ad. Okay, good to go. Ankit Hans, thank you so much. Ankita Kumari, thank you so much. Okay. We would start right away at 3-2 or 3-3. Okay. So that just everyone joins the stream. Okay. So we would just wait for 1 or 2 minutes, then we would start right away. Today we would be doing yesterday's problem of the day. That is median of two sorted arrays of different sizes. Okay. So I think we should start now. Can we start now? Can I have a quick +1 that we can start? Okay. Many viewers got attached. Can I have a quick +1 from the new viewers who have joined just now? Please, if possible, please. Okay, so today we would be doing yesterday's problem of the day, that is median of two sorted arrays of different sizes, and this is a hard level problem with a success percentage of 50%, and this problem came in Amazon, Samsung, and two more companies. Okay, so let us move to the problem statement. So let us now understand the problem statement. Raki Kashyap, hey, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining the session. Okay, so let us understand the problem statement. So we are given two sorted arrays. What do you mean by sorted arrays? The sorted arrays means the array, the elements would be in non-decreasing order. Okay. Hey Aditya Raj, hey, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining the session. So we would be given two non-decreasing arrays, array 1 and array 2 of size m and n. Find the median of two sorted arrays. Okay, so now whenever we talk about the median, the first thing that we should do is we should first know how to find the median of the numbers. Okay, so to find out the median of the numbers means the middle number. Okay, normally just remember this, the middle number. Okay, so now suppose the number of the elements of the array are even. Okay, no, let's first talk about the odd one. Okay, so let's think that the number of elements in the array is odd, like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so which is the middle element of this array? The middle element of this array is 3. Okay, third element of 5 elements. Now suppose it is even. Okay, so now let's talk about even number. Okay, even, and the number of elements as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So what is the median? The median are these two elements, sum of these two elements divided by 2. Okay, 3 plus 4 divided by 2, which is 3.5, which would give, this is the median of the array. So whenever it is even, the median is the middle elements, sum of two middle elements divided by 2. When it is odd, then the middle element of the array, it would be the median of the array. Bharti Kumari, hey Bharti Kumari, thanks a lot for joining this session. Okay, so now let's move back to the question. So we already know how to know the middle of two sorted arrays. Sorted arrays means the elements would be given in non-decreasing order. Okay, so now the m's value is 3 and n value is 4. So array 1 would have 3 elements, array 2 would have 4 elements. Okay, So now how to calculate the median of two sorted arrays? Okay, so the first thing that we should do is we should combine both the arrays into a single sorted arrays. Hey Saurav, hi, thanks for joining the session. Okay, so now the first thing, the most naive approach is combining both the arrays and taking out the median of it. Okay, so let us first try to join the array and write the resultant array. So after joining, the resultant array would be like this: 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 and 9. So how many elements would be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whenever the number of elements are odd, then it is the middle element. So middle element is the 5 element itself. So it is this. Okay, so this element is the median of the array. So am I clear with the question or not? Can I have a quick +1 from everyone that this question is clear? How to solve this question is a different scenario, but is this question clear or not? I'm just interested in that. Okay, so can I have a quick +1 from Ankita, Hans, Ankita, Kumari, Rakhi, Aditya, Bharti and Saurav? Please reply me with a +1 that I know that this question is clear, and others please also do reply so that I know that you are watching this session. Okay, Akshay Margal, thanks a lot for joining this session. Thanks a lot for replying. Okay, so good to go. So today's session would be a bit longer. Okay, good to go. So now the first naive approach that would come in our mind is combine the two arrays. Okay, combine the two arrays. Okay, we would combine the two arrays and produce the median. Seems simple. Okay, this is the same question like merge to sorted arrays. This question has now been boiled down to the merge to sorted arrays question. Ankita Kumari, Aditya Raj, Bhuvan Chandra Joshi, thanks a lot for replying. Bharti, Ankita, Hans, thanks a lot. Okay, so this question has now been boiled down to the approach that we need to combine two sorted arrays. Combining two sorted arrays, how can we do that? Okay, so let's see how can we combine two sorted arrays. Combining two sorted arrays is kind of a little bit simple. Okay, so let me copy this test case. Okay, this I need to take the screenshot of this. Okay, so add to a new page, good to go. So now we would just combine the array. Okay, so the thing that we would do is we would take 2 I and j. Okay, so this would be I, this would be j itself. Okay, so normally this is the case. So which is smaller? I is smaller, so we would write 1 and we would increment the value of I. Okay, so now I is here and j is here. Okay, so this is the common practice that we would do to combine the things. Now we would again compare that which is smaller, j or I. So 2 is smaller, so we would again write 2 and then we would increment 2 to 3 itself. Now again which is smaller? 3 is smaller, so we would write 3 and then we would increment this pointer to 6. Now which is smaller? Absolutely 5 is smaller, so we would write 5 and we would increment. Okay, and we would increment this counter. Now which is again smaller? 6 is smaller, so we would write 6 and we would increment the counter to 7 itself. Okay, now which is smaller? 7 is smaller, so we would write 7 and we would increment the counter, but there is no element left, so we would just remove this and then the last remaining element is 9 itself. Okay, good to go. So now this is how we can combine the arrays by using two pointers. One pointer would be at I, one pointer would be at j, and the element which and the pointer which would be consisting of the lower value, we would write it and we would increment it. We would write it and we would increment it, and we would do this for the consecutive number of times, and at the end we would get a sorted array. And now can everyone tell me what would be the time complexity of this combining process? What would be the time complexity of combining these two sorted arrays into a single sorted array? Can anyone tell me the time complexity? Okay, Ankita, Ankit, Bharti, Saurav, Akshay, Rakhi, and then Bhuvan, Aditya. Can anyone tell, these all people tell me the time complexity which would be required to combine these two sorted arrays and produce the median? What is the time complexity? Suppose you gave this approach to the interviewer is quite impressed and he asks you the time complexity. Big O of m plus n. Yeah, absolutely correct. Big O of m plus n. Thanks a lot. Congratulations, Akshay and Bharti. Big O of n plus m. Why big O of n plus n? Because this I would be going from 0 to m minus 1 and this j would be going from 0 to n minus 1. So we are iterating both the ways. Okay, so this is m plus n. Okay, good to go. So now this is the time complexity. We are good to go. So now suppose you gave this approach to the interviewer and the interviewer is quite well satisfied and your answer is correct, but he wants you to do an optimization over the time complexity. Because the space complexity is big O of 1, we aren't taking any extra space, we are taking just this extra space for this, keeping this resultant array. So not big O of 1, we can call it a big O of n plus n. Okay, so the time complexity is big O of m plus n. Big O of m plus n, space complexity. We would good to go. So now this is the space and the time complexity. Why space and time complexity? Because this resultant array would be stored somewhere. Good to go. So now suppose, can you tell me an optimization over this thing? Okay, over this thing. So now can you tell me the optimization over this thing? Okay, so what would be that optimization? The optimization is not very trivial. It is kind of hard. Okay, it is kind of hard. And I think that this optimization requires a bit of observation, high level observation, and if you can observe it without anything, without any hints and all, then you are damn perfect. You are quite ready for interview and you can crack even Google. Okay, but if you are not, it's absolutely okay. Even I was not able to figure out the solution in the first half. I had to see some small hints. I always don't look at the solution. I take a sneak peek at 1 or 2 lines and I try to do that. So I looked at the tag. The tag talked me about the binary search approach. Okay. Okay. Now we would talk about how would we try to solve this question. So now if you observe closely, this array is sorted and this array is sorted. Siddharth, we know that. Why to tell it again? This is because this fact plays a very important role. Okay, so let me try to copy this thing. Okay, we would copy this thing. Upper bound, lower bound. How do we apply upper bound and lower bound to this? Can you please elaborate it more, Ankita Kumari? Okay, so now we would talk about this. So yeah, good to go. So now we would see that we would use the fact these two are sorted. Okay, these two are sorted. Okay, now we would start with partitioning of the array. We know that this array contains 3, this array contains 7. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This would be the number of elements. Now what is the number of usefulness of the element? The useful elements that would be required is till 4. After 5 and 6 and 7 we can ignore that. So what we can do is we are only interested till 4. Because the 4th element would give us the median of the array and that is enough. Okay, that is enough. Okay, so now what is the first thing that we would do? The first thing that we would do is, suppose we have concluded, we have told that, hey Ankita, can we take only just one element from array 1, and the rest of the elements in segment 1, this is segment 1, this is segment 2, and rest of the elements would be filled by array 2. मैं क्या बोलना चाह रहा हूँ, जरा ध्यान से सुनना. हमारे पास एक array का 2 सेगमेंट होता है, ठीक ना? एक array को हमने 2 सेगमेंट में डिवाइड किया. इस वाला सेगमेंट हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्यों हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है? बिकॉज इसी सेगमेंट में हमारा मीडियन लाई कर रहा है. ठीक है, इसी सेगमेंट में हमारा मीडियन लाई कर रहा है अभी. फॉर नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द odd number of elements. Okay, we would talk about the even number of elements after this point, but for now we are talking about the odd number of elements. So we know that this side segment after the left hand side segment is important for us. Why it is important? Because it contains the median element. So हम लोग ने array को दो हिस्से में बांट दिया. Okay, good to go. So now हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि पहले हिस्से में हम array 1 से एक एलिमेंट लेंगे. पहले हिस्से से हम array से एक एलिमेंट लेंगे. Good to go. So now we would take one element from array 1. Okay, one element from array 1 and rest of the elements would be filled by array 2. Okay, so now कितने एलिमेंट्स बाकी है? 3 एलिमेंट्स बाकी है. So we would fill it with array 2. So 2, 3 and 6. Okay, now we would fill this side. I would use different colors. Now what is the number of elements remaining? That is 5 and 9. And what is the remaining elements here? That is 7. Okay, that is 7. Then let me write it with a different, okay, so that it would be very clear. Okay, this is good to go. We took one element from array 1 and rest elements are taken from array 2, and here we are taking 2 elements and the rest elements is taken by array 2. Okay, so now let's talk about what are we concluding here. We are concluding that this is the end of array 1, this is the end of array 2. Okay, so now what is the median? Okay, what is the median? Okay, so this is 1. Okay, let me write it like this way, like a table. Okay, so we are taking from the first array here 1, and the next array we are taking 2, 3 and 6, and in the next half we are taking 5 and 9, and here we are taking 7 from the second array. Okay, so good to go. So now suppose 1 is less than 7 and 6 is not less than 5. So we know that ये जो 5 यहाँ गया है ना, उसका प्लेस यहाँ नहीं, उसका प्लेस यहाँ होना चाहिए, और this 6 should go here. Did you get this point or not? This is greater than this side. So इस साइड में सारा एलिमेंट्स इस साइड से स्मॉल होना चाहिए, obviously, but here we are getting an element which is smaller than this side. Okay, so this side element should be small, but this is not the case, so this is not valid. Okay, this is not valid. So we took only one element. Okay, so now we would start with taking another element. Okay, let us take another element in the first half. So now we would be taking 1 and 5 from the first array, and the remaining elements, what are the remaining elements in the first half? 4 elements in the remaining. So 2 and 3 from the second array, and now here we would take the remaining elements. 1, 5 and 9 would remain, and 2, 3 के बाद 6 and 7 would remain, so 6 and 7. Okay, now we would again check, is 5 smaller than 6? Yeah, 5 is smaller than 6. Is 3 smaller than 9? Yeah, 3 is smaller than 9. So we can know that this array is distributed properly. This array is distributed properly. So if you say this 1, 2, 3 and 5, here 6, 7 and 9, this is distributed absolutely correctly. This is distributed absolutely correctly. Okay, am I clear with this or not? Can I have a quick +1 in the chat or not? In segment left 1 is less than R2, and in segment 2 let, yeah, Bharti, you are absolutely correct. After combining, no, we are not trying to combine, because combining would give us a time complexity of m plus n. So we are trying to lower down the time complexity. So this is absolutely good to go. So now you would check, you would tell me that I am comparing this with this and this with this. Why not in the same way? So we know that we are taking this element, and after that we are taking this all elements. So we know that this would definitely be smaller. So we just need to check on the crosshair side. If you want, you can check on the same side also, but that would just be not a useful. Why? Because it is already known that it was be good to go. So now according to here, now let us try to figure out. Now let us try to figure out the Kamran Ali, yeah, thank you. Let us try to figure out what would be if it is distributed absolutely correct, let us try to figure out what would be the median. We know that 3 won't constitute as the last element of the first segment, but 5 would constitute. Okay, मैं समझाता हूँ. हमें पता चल गया कि segment 1 में ये सारे elements होंगे. Okay, ये सारे elements होंगे. So we know that 3 तो last element हो नहीं सकता है. Obviously 5 last element हो सकता है. Okay, so 5 would be last element, and we know that segment 1 का last element ही हमारा median है. That's why we would report 5 as our answer. Okay, now we would again check with 3 elements यहाँ दिया, 4 elements यहाँ दिया. Am I clear with this or not? This distribution of element. Okay, am I clear with this or not? Then we would talk about the even condition. We have talked about the odd condition because it was easy. Now we would talk about the even condition. Okay, this problem can be solved using Kamran. This problem can be solved using log n approach. I am talking about the log n approach. We are trying to build up a solution which would result in log n approach, but directly telling the solution is not our point. We are trying to building up the solution. Okay, I am waiting. Please, Ankit Hans, Ankita Kumari, Saurav Singh, Bharti, Bhuvan, Ankita Kumari, and then Pothala, then Anonymous Fan, Kamran Ali. Have you understood this till this point or not? Now we would talk about the odd part. Now we would talk about the even part. This coding is not important. How we are using binary search is not important for now. Just this thing, have you understood it or not? I'm just interested in this thing. I would be waiting for 1 or 2 minutes. Can I have a quick +1 from at least 2 or 3 people? Ankit Hans, thanks a lot for replying. Can I have a reply from everyone like Ankit Hans has replied? Okay. Bhuvan Chandra Joshi, thanks a lot. Ankita Kumari, thanks a lot. Bharti Pothala, Ankit Hans. Okay, Ankit Hans has replied. Saurav, where is Saurav? Aditya Raj, little bit. Aditya Raj, this needs a little bit of understanding. Okay, so if you want Aditya Raj, I can explain it again. Just let me know. There is no problem, absolutely no problem. Without any question asked, I would be explaining it again. Okay, so we are good to go. So now we have got the answer 5. Okay, now let's talk about the position. Now we will sort at the end for the left 3 elements. We are sorting. Will we use sorting at the end for the left 4 elements? Will we use sorting for the left 4 elements? This is the right hand, this is the left. No, we would not be using sorting. Why we won't be using sorting? I am telling you. जरा ध्यान से देखना इस part को. We are taking 2 elements from the first half. So we know that this is sorted. So 1 and 5, this is sorted. And we are taking the remaining elements from the second half. So we know that 2 and 3. So 2 and 3. Okay. हमें पता है that this, okay, let me explain it again. Okay, 2 people want me to explain again, and yes, this is very important way, and if you don't understand this, you won't be able to understand. Yes, please explain it again. Okay, so what I am trying to do is, okay, this contains 3 elements, this contains 4 elements. Okay, and we know what is the median of the 7 elements. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. These are the total number of elements. So we know which is the median. The median is the 4th element. Please understand it very clearly. I would explain it in a little bit quick manner. Okay, so we know that 4th element हमारा median है. So now what we would be doing is we would be partitioning this array into 2 parts. Okay, partition क्यों किया? क्योंकि we know that till this point our array is important. After this point this is not important. Why this is not important? Because this would not contribute to the answer. So जो हमें answer में काम देगा हम उन्हीं को use करेंगे. Good to go. So just इतना सोचना है. So now we would try to take only 4 elements. Now to take 4 elements, 4 जो 4 element है उसमें array 1 के भी elements हो सकते हैं, array 2 के भी elements हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ array 1 के भी elements हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ array 2 के भी elements हो सकते हैं. ये सारे properties है. So what we would do is we would start with giving only 1 elements of the array 1. So now we are taking 1 element from array 1. 1 element from array 1, that is 1 itself. And 3 elements तो अब हमें array 2 से चाहिए. So 2, 3, 6 would be taken from the array 2. So 2, 3 and 6 are taken from the array 2. Okay. What are the number of remaining elements in array 1? That is 5 and 9. So array 1 से 5 और 9 बच गया and array 2 से 7 बच गया. Good to go. So now what we would do is, we know that 1 is less than 5, 6 is less than 7. So this is clear. Okay. So now we would compare it cross. Okay. We are comparing it cross. So 1 is less than 7. It is good to go. But 6 is greater than 5. We know that this side of the array, इस तरफ तो एलिमेंट स्मॉलर होना चाहिए ना इस साइड के, बट यहाँ के एलिमेंट्स तो यहाँ के एलिमेंट से बढ़ जा रहे हैं. इसका मतलब हम लोगों ने अच्छे से डिवीजन नहीं किया, हम लोगों ने अच्छे से एलिमेंट्स को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं किया. ओके, सो वी नो दैट वन एलिमेंट इज नॉट एनफ. ओके, सो नाउ वी वुड अगेन इंक्रीज द वैल्यू. सो अब हम दो एलिमेंट्स लेंगे array 1 से. ओके, सो 1 and 5 would be taken from array 1. And what are the remaining elements? Only 2 elements are remaining. बाकी 2 elements हम array 2 से ले लेंगे. That is 2 and 3. Okay, good to go. So now we would again partition. 1 और 5 के बाद बचता क्या है? 1 और 5 के बाद 9 बचता है. And what is the elements remaining? 2 और 3 हमने ले चुका है. 6 और 7 बच गया है. Okay, we know that 5 would be less than 9, 3 would be less than 6. Okay, good to go also. So now we would again check crosswise. Okay, we would again check crosswise. So 5 is less than 6. Yeah, 5 is less than 6. 3 is less than 9. Yeah, 3 is less than 9. So हम लोगों ने यहाँ distribution correct किया है. हम लोगों ने we are here distributing it correctly. Okay, so good to go. So now we would again write it. Okay, now let's check it. So 1, 2, 3, 5 and here 6, 7 and 9. या अगर हम लोग सॉर्ट करते हैं तब भी ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करेक्ट है. ओके, सो नाउ गुड टू गो. सो नाउ हमें पता चल चुका है कि हमने सक्सेसफुली इस लेफ्ट हैंड साइड का निकाल चुका है. ठीक है, सो वी नो दैट विच वुड बी द लास्ट एलिमेंट ऑफ दिस साइड. वी नो दैट 3 तो लास्ट एलिमेंट हो नहीं सकता. वाई? बिकॉज देयर इज 5 विच इज ग्रेटर देन 3. ओके, so we know that first array से maximum 5 है, second array से maximum 3 है. So first array का maximum 5 है, so 5 would be the last element of array 1. This side partition. So that would be the last element. Our last element हम लोग का क्या था? Last element was our median. So last element is 5. So last element is nothing but max of last element of array 1 and array 2, A1 and A2. That would be the median when the number of elements are odd. Okay, now am I clear or not? Am I clear or not? Thanks a lot, Akshay, for resolving others' doubt. Okay, by resolving others' doubt, you get. Okay, I have explained it again. Please let me know if this is clear or not. Okay, good to go. So now this is how we can try to distribute the answer. Okay, so now what is the first thing that we would do? We would check cross that if it is smaller than that, if it is smaller than that. If it is both the smaller, then the max would be the answer. Okay, at the end we find the maximum of 2 arrays. Okay, good to go. So now हम लोगों ने एक एलिमेंट उठाया, हम लोगों ने 2 एलिमेंट उठाया, हम लोगों ने 3 एलिमेंट उठाया, हम लोगों ने कोई और एलिमेंट्स नहीं उठाया. So what are the number of elements that we can take from the first array? We can take 0 elements, we can take 1 element, we can take 2 elements, we can take 3 elements. Okay, good to go. This is the number of elements. So now if we are taking 1 element, 2 element, 3 element, 4 element, then the time complexity would again be 0 of m plus n. Okay, but we can optimize this approach. How we can optimize this approach? भैया मैंने बहुत दिक्कत से और एक बार एक्सप्लेन किया है. सब +1 बोलेंगे तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. ओके, जस्ट +1 बोल दो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कोई खटनी नहीं है, बस ओके +1 कुछ भी बोल दो. Okay, and if possible just like the video because the number of live viewers are 14 and the number of likes is only 12. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, so we are taking 1 element, 0 elements. Okay, so now we would again check. Okay, we would again check. We can see that हम लोगों को एक range मिल गया 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, जब हमें range मिल जाता है, what is the first thing that should come in our mind? The first thing that should strike in our mind is binary search. Okay, Now how binary search? Whenever we get a range of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, okay, and answer इनमें से कोई एक होता है, answer इनमें से कोई एक होता है, then the first thing that we should think about is binary search. Okay, now to confirm if this question is a binary search or not, we should see what is, if this is a monotonous function or not. Now what is a monotonous function? Monotonous function is nothing but n, then yes, 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 or yes, 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 and no, no, no. This is a monotonous function, but yes, no, or no, 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 again yes. This is not a monotonous function, but these two are monotonous function. So whenever we see a range, the next thing that we should do is we should check if it is a monotonous function or not. Now anonymous function, you are telling me to talk in Hindi, but only 30% of the population in Hindi talk about in Hindi, but most of the people understand English. So I would, whenever the topic is hard or I think that I need explanation in regional languages too, so I would explain in Hindi, otherwise मैं English में ही बोलूँगा. Okay, that's the thing. Now one Bengali student would come, like I am a Bengali, আমি ऐसे बोलबो कि আমার বাংলাতে explanation চাই, এরকম হয় না. That is the thing. So I need to go with everyone. That's why I teach in English. I know my English is absolutely very awful, but I still try so that everyone understands. Thanks a lot. Okay. So good to go. So the next thing we should talk about is monotonous function. So now let's check if it is a monotonous function or not. Okay. So now whenever we are checking about whenever we are talking about the monotonous function, what is the next thing that we should do? Suppose this side element, okay, we were partitioning the array. So now suppose we are comparing the last element. Suppose the last element of array 1 is R1 and the last element of element 2 is R2, okay, and yaha E1 and E2, okay. This is this side, this is this side. Now we think that this R1 is, instead of if it is less, then it would get our answer. But if this R1 is greater than E2, so हमें पता चल चुका है कि अगर 5 इस एलिमेंट से ग्रेटर हो रहा है, so हमें 5 से उस एलिमेंट को 5 से कम करना है, ज़्यादा नहीं. अगर हमारे पास ऑलरेडी एक वैल्यू है जो अगला एलिमेंट से ज़्यादा है, so we know that उससे ज़्यादा एलिमेंट तो absolutely हमारा आंसर होगा नहीं. Okay, we need to go on the lower hand side. Okay, हमें वैल्यू कम करना है. That is what we should do. So now we are telling that yes, 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 then no, no, no. Why no, no, no? If this is no, then if we move forward, the answer would remain no. But if this is yes, the answer would remain yes if we go on the right hand side. So this is confirmed that this is a monotonous function, and the range and the monotonous function confirms that this question is a binary search. Now how would we apply binary search? The binary search would be applicable with the range itself. Like 0, 1, 2 and 3, we would use a binary search of low is equals to 0, high is equals to 3 itself. This is how we can use binary search. Okay, so now we would start right away. So now let's talk about some corner cases too before the implementation. Now suppose we are taking 0 elements from array 1. We are taking 0 elements from array 1. So R1 would be blank and R2 would be 0 elements लिया है और सामने तो 4 elements हो, so we would take 2, 3 and 6. Okay, and now E1 would contain of 1, 5, 9 and from E2 would be 7 itself. So जो R1 जो blank है ना, so what we are taking, we were taking the largest value between R1 and R2. So we need to keep R1 such a number that it won't disturb the final answer. Okay, so ऐसा क्या रखे जिससे आंसर फाइनल नहीं हो रहा. So we were taking the maximum of R1 and R2. So अगर हम यहाँ कोई minimum value रख देते हैं, like minimum 100, so we know that this 100 would never contribute to the answer and this 6 would be the answer. Okay, now what is one more observation? One more observation is that we only need the last value. We only need the last value of R1 and we only need the last value of R2. Similarly for E1 and E2. Okay, so is this explanation clear? Okay, I would need a +1 from everyone, the people who are watching, but I would do a dry run of what I am trying to tell you. Okay, so suppose we can take 0 elements or at max 3 elements. So we would start with a binary search of low is equals to 0, high is equals to 3 itself. Okay, good to go. So now let's talk about the mid value. So what is mid? Mid on the first thing, the first half, mid would be 0 plus 3 divided by 2. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. If we do the integer division, the value would be 1. So we would be taking one value from array 1. So array 1, there would be one value, and the rest value would be filled by array 2. So that would be 2, 3 and 6. Okay, जो वैल्यूज बच गए वो इस साइड जाएंगे. सो एरे 1 से क्या बचा? एरे 1 से 5 और 9 बच गया, सो 5 and 9. एरे 2 से क्या बचा? 7. Okay, so now we are only interested with the last value. So we can see 1 is less than 7 and 6 is less than 5 itself. 6 is more than 5. So हमें पता चल गया that we need to decrease this 6 and increase this value. Okay, so now what would be the value? Low is equals to mid plus 1. So now low would be equals to mid plus 1, the value would be 2, and high would remain as 3. Okay, so 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. That would be the 2. So now mid is equals to 2. So we would take two values now. So we would start with taking two values, that is 1 and 5. And the rest of the values would be filled by the array 2. So 2 and 3. Okay. And then the remaining values, 9 is left in the first half and 6 and 7 is left in the first half. So 5 is less than 6. 3 is less than 1. So we have now come to the correct answer. Okay, this is good to go. So now we would compare with the value of the median. So which would be the median? The median would be the max of 5 and 3, that is 5. So 5 is our answer. This is how we would do, and this is the dry run of the approach. Okay, now let us talk about when the number is even. Okay, the number of elements in the resultant array is even. Talking about the even elements, it is absolutely very simple. Now when we would partition the array, like R1, R2, E1 and E2. Okay, good to go. So now we know that this maximum would contribute to the last element. So max of R1 and R2 plus what would be the value that would come in the first. Okay, the minimum value of E1 and E2 and the minimum of E1 and E2 divided by 2. How minimum of E1 and E2? This is already explained, max part. Now here we are talking about the minimum part. So we know that when we were talking about this side, we know that the smaller value would be the value that would come just after this segment. Okay, so इधर से एक value उठाया, first last value, इधर से first value, दोनों value लिया, divided by 2, and that would be our median. Okay, so is my explanation clear, or you need one more dry run or anything, or any part that you have not understood? I would be awaiting for reply. Then I would be moving on to the implementation. The implementation is a bit long, but it is absolutely very simple. Okay, Bharti, Akshay, Bhavan, Ankita Kumari, Pothala, Rakhi, Anonymous, Aditya Raj, please reply if my explanation is clear to you or not. Okay, please reply. Can I have a quick +1 that my explanation is clear, or can we move to the implementation? Okay, please reply kar do. Okay, please, if possible, just reply. Thanks a lot Ankita for replying. Thanks a lot Aditya for replying. Bharti, Bhuvan, Pothala, yeah, Pothala has replied. Bharti, thanks a lot. I got many +1. Good to go. Thanks a lot, Ankita Kumari. Thanks a lot, Bhuvan. Thanks a lot. Okay, good to go. So now we would move on to the implementation part. Okay, so now we are talking about the implementation. So now हम लोग बाइनरी सर्च पहले एरे में कर रहे हैं. So we would always, Lokesh, thanks a lot Lokesh. Okay, thanks a lot for Lokesh. So हम लोग बाइनरी सर्च पहला एलिमेंट में कर रहे हैं. Okay, so we would talk about this array. Okay, so just अगर a का साइज ज़्यादा है, so we would just flip the array. Good to go. At first we are storing the size is n and m. Okay, and then this would contain the answer. Okay, so now what is Sn? Sn is the total number of elements, but the value which would contain the median. Okay, like this is 3 value, this is 4 value. One array contains 3, other element contains 4. So 3 plus 4 plus 1 divided by 2 is 8 by 2, it is 4. So we know that the fourth element would contain the median. So that is what the Sn is telling us. So now we are starting with low value, that we can take 0 values or the complete value. And we are starting with the binary search. What is the calculation of mid? Mid is equals to low plus high divided by 2. Now we are calculating R1. So if we are taking no values from the array 1, that is mid is equals to 0, we are assigning R1 to int mid, so that it does not contribute to the answer, because we are taking the max. अगर max लेना है अनुज भट्ट, okay, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, R1, अगर R1 ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, तो suppose 1 2 3 4 and mid is 2. Okay, so we need to take 2 values from array 1. So we know that the 2 values would be, the indexes are 0 1 2 and 3, so that would be 2 values. So if we take 2 minus 1, that is 1, that would take these 2 values. That is why I am taking R1 as a dash mid minus 1. And R2 क्या हो जाएगा? R2 is simply the first value after just the last value. Okay, that is mid plus 1, that is Sn minus 1, that is good to go. Okay, so now if mid is less than n, then we are comparing, or else we are doing int max. Okay, I think it should be clear with this. Now I tried to explain every line. If you have not understood, then let me know which line I would again explain it. Okay, let us move forward. Now L2. Now L1 and L2 सही मान लिया. Okay, now if R1 is less than L2, cross check कर रहे हैं. If cross are valid, then we are taking the max of R1 and R2. If it is the odd number of elements. Odd number of elements लेने से क्या होगा? Max of R1 and R2, as I told. And if it is the even number of elements, then we would take the max of R1 and R2 and the min of L1 and L2. Where I have explained here, okay, max and min. This is how I have explained it previously only. Okay, so good to go. So I took, then divide by 2 if it is even. Good to go. So now if R1 is greater than R2, okay, अगर हमें पता है कि R1 L2 से ज़्यादा है, तो R1 का वैल्यू कम करना होगा. R1 का वैल्यू कम कैसे करें? R1 का वैल्यू कम करेंगे रेंज को लेफ्ट हैंड साइड लाके. R1 का वैल्यू ऑटोमेटिकली कम हो जाएगा. सो आई एम डूइंग मिड माइनस 1. और एल्स इफ R1's वैल्यू इज लेस देन दिस, सो हम मिड का रेंज बढ़ा देंगे. रेंज कैसे बढ़ाएं? इस साइड से इस साइड चल जाएंगे. इस साइड एलिमेंट्स बड़े हैं, इस साइड एलिमेंट्स छोटे हैं. सो आई एम डूइंग मिड प्लस 1 एंड एट द एंड आई एम रिटर्निंग द आंसर. Okay, so I would be waiting for absolutely 2 or 3 minutes. After that, I would be turning the session off. Can I have a quick plus from everyone that you have understood this question? Now I am open for doubt itself. Okay, time for doubts. Okay, good to go. भैया आपको contact कैसे कर सकता हूँ? Anuj Bhatt, my LinkedIn username is Siddharth Hazra. The name that is done in the POD session, SIDDHARTHA HZRA. If you search me on LinkedIn, you can send me a connection request. I absolutely don't receive connection request for the whole day. So if you send me, I would be accepting it, and then you can ask me anything, and we would be able to keep in contact. Okay, Bhuvan Chandra Joshi, thanks a lot for replying. I am waiting a reply from Bharti, from Ankita, from Pothala, from Lokesh, from Rakhi. Okay, from Ankit Hans. okay, from Bhuvan, from Akshay, from Anonymous Fan. Okay, can I have a quick +1? Or if you have any doubt, just ask me, I would be telling you. Okay. बाप रे बाप, आज गला सूख गया. Okay. Thanks a lot, Bharti, for the reply. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, if now one more request, if possible, if you visit again after this video, just comment on this video. Why I'm telling you comment on this video? Because YouTube algorithm is such that it would recommend the video which is having more number of likes and comments. That is why if possible, then just comment on the video. Anuj Kumar Bhatt, after I finish this session, I would be accepting your friend request. Sorry, connection request. Okay, Pothala, thanks a lot. Ankit Hans, thanks a lot. Aditya, thanks a lot. Okay, good to go. I don't think that I am receiving any number of any doubts. I would be starting a timer of 1 minute. After that, I would be turning this session off. Okay. Last 1 minute waiting. If you still have any doubts, I am waiting for the last 10 minutes also. Just ask me and I would be more than happy to tell you. By the way, question hard tha. That's seriously, it was hard. It was hard and it is important also. Okay, it is important also that merge to sorted arrays. Those who don't know that, please consider doing that. Okay, because that is also important. Okay, these small things is important. Okay, that give you a flavor of real DSA. So that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day. This is me, Siddharth Hazra, signing off. Thanks a lot. Have you cracked any FANG companies? No, I am not eligible to crack FANG companies because I am a 2023 batch pass out. So this is my internship. Okay, I am doing my internship in Geeks for Geeks as the associate mentor. Okay, I am a 2023 batch pass out. I am just entered my 3rd year. Okay, so I would be trying to crack any FANG companies. Just bless me that we and viewers and I both should crack the FANG companies. About Aditya, about GFG 100 days challenge, I don't know much about the 100 days challenge because 100 days challenge includes the doing the core subjects too. That's why I'm not well versed with that. I am not focusing on that because I was in my 2nd year, just now completed my 2nd year. Now I would be doing that at the end of the 3rd year so that I can start applying in the companies for full time. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day. And the most pathetic thing, if you ask me, is my college companies, there is no internship opportunities through my on-campus opportunities. So I am not trying to focus on internship much because I am focusing on the full time. Okay, because full time companies थोड़े मोड़े आ जाते हैं. मैं टायर 4 से बिलोंग करता हूँ. थोड़े मोड़े कंपनीज आ जाते हैं, फिर ऑफ कैंपस ट्राई करना ही है. दैट्स ऑल. थोड़े तो प्रॉब्लम होते हैं. एट द एंड 11-12 में नहीं पढ़ा. ओके भैया, पक्का फोड़ोगे. मैं नहीं, हम और आप दोनों फोड़ेंगे. ओके, हम और आप दोनों फोड़ेंगे, साथ में पार्टी करेंगे. सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. थैंक यू एंड हैव अ नाइस डे.